Kerbal Space Program. Zombies in Space. Episode 19. More mapping and more Minimus. So, yeah, here we join a launch already in progress. Unlocked the larger fuel tanks, so I'm using them. And what I'm trying to do is put a new mapping, Kethane detecting and planet mapping satellite into orbit, and the idea being that I can also use this same vehicle and launch vehicle and same satellite to hopefully map Moon and Minimus if I desire to. So yeah, just trying to figure this thing out. I forgot already that to do the mapping thing you gotta go down to the bottom corner where I've got the map icon and get that going. Anyway, so we're trying to get this thing into a polar orbit, and it's going up and up and up. Okay, so we're double the speed of sound now, and we're at 20 kilometers. Oh, those engines or those tanks are empty, so ditch them. And so basically there's this stage, and then there's a small engine attached to the actual satellite, and that's all that's left. And we got still over 1,000 liquid fuel, so I'm thinking this should be enough to actually get to Moon or Minimus, if that's the plan, but I'm not 100% sure. Okay, and we're totally leveling out, flying horizontally at almost, at 29 kilometers. Oh, and we're getting the re-entry effects heading up. We're going 2 kilometers an hour and we're still in the atmosphere. 2 kilometers per second and we're still in the atmosphere. Maybe if I did things a little differently, it might be more efficient. Getting re-entry effects on launch can't really be the most efficient way to go. And actually our fuel is way down. So maybe to get somewhere else, well, for one thing, slow down. For another thing, maybe I will need more fuel or more of a boost to get to Minimus or Moon. Anyway, plotting a trajectory to increase the orbit. This orbit's a little bit high, I think, because I think if you get too high in your orbit, you start missing spaces when you're trying to detect the Kethane. The mapping seems to go okay. Anyway, as you will see, a definite change that I've talked about from the other satellite I was using is to put more solar panels, because I was thinking the other one was running out of energy rather quickly when I was trying to do things. Whoa, and yeah, I started firing the engines, and apparently, having crossed over the pole, all of the all of the trajectory indicators had flipped. So you'll see it's mapping away quite nicely, but it's missing spots. So it would definitely appear that the too high. That's okay. Like I say, this is a test. I really don't think I'm going to do any mining on Kerbin. But this is definitely going much more effectively. I don't seem to be in any real danger of running out of electric charge. So now I get the mapping thing going, and this is mapping new territory. Well, that's pretty cool and high speed. Oh, anyway, so now to Minimus. Yes, again, lost some footage. We're in orbit. This craft is in orbit around Minimus, trying to calculate a trajectory. I actually want to try and bring it down on one of those peaks, one of those flatter looking peaks. Essentially, this is the same craft that was used in our zombie rescue episodes when we finally got Jeanery, or no, so, yeah, zombie rescue, where we finally got Jeanery back from the moon. But the unmanned portion has been removed. We don't have the unmanned probe attached anymore. And so we're approaching to burn, and that's cutting it too close. There we go. Have to raise the trajectory up a little bit because I don't want to hit that ridge. I want to land on that part that looks kind of flat. So plan a new trajectory once we kind of get over that ridge. I hope we get over that ridge. And we'll go from there. And as usual, I've got that extra stage, so I'll get rid of that. Let it go. Let it go. So it's supposed to be a 2-second burn. You can see everything is just kind of skipping over the horizon. Wow. Actually, because of the height we're at, that thing could be skipping across the horizon forever. I don't know. Anyway, pull in the solar panels just in case we start rolling. Do a little bit of science. Well, or not. Yeah, and we're approaching that ridge fairly rapidly and very horizontally, and it looks like we're going to be skimming over it pretty low. So I decided to try fire the engines and maybe bring us up a little bit. And then because of the way everything's going, I kind of decided, well, why don't I just land in that valley? Which again might have been a crazy idea. Sometimes I have these crazy ideas. So here we go. Well, it says we're 5 kilometers up, but we're definitely not 5 kilometers above that ridge, or 5 kilometers above whatever's below us at the moment. See, I kind of take a look around. It's like, well, I could go in that valley. I could go in that valley. I'm not sure if that was a smart decision or not. You can definitely see the ground scatter, and our trajectory is starting to turn towards the horizontal. It says we're 2 kilometers up, but I think we're not really above the ridge yet. So basically we're at, yeah, that'd be at about 2,700 meters. And it does appear we're drifting in that direction. Got the engine firing, trying to trying to slow things down a bit. But now it says 4.2 kilometers above sea level, which should be what, about 1,500 meters above the surface, if our estimate is correct. Oh, and there goes my alarm. Whatever, we'll leave it at that. Okay, still coming down. So by the estimate, we're about, well, 1.1 kilometers up. I'm just kind of controlling the altitude with a bit of a burn, controlling our speed with a bit of a burn. Just looking, yeah, our trajectory is pretty much straight down right now, and that's telling us that yes, we're about a kilometer up, less than a kilometer up, because we're kind of drifting further into the valley. So we're losing altitude in one way and gaining it in another, sort of, at least relative to the surface. Which is okay, because if we drift further into the valley at this point, things tend to be a little flatter towards the middle of valleys. Tend to be. It's not always the case. Okay. So I'm not even sure about how high up we are yet, or how high up we are from the surface. Oh, and suddenly we're actually rising. Well, oh, now we're coming down again. Actually, what I'd like to see, I'm thinking that would be neat, on the nav ball there, if you're approaching an object, that the color of the print on the nav ball would be red, and if you're actually moving away from an object, that the color would be green. And that way you'd know if you're coming down, it's going to be red. And if you're heading up into the atmosphere or heading up into space, it'd be green. It makes sense to me. Anyway, okay, trying to control the speed here. We know we're getting fairly low. As I said, we've kind of drifted towards the middle of the valley. Oh, I can see the shadow there off to the right a bit. Yeah. So check for fuel. We got plenty of fuel still, so that's good. Oh, now the shadow is approaching much quicker. We're getting there. Hopefully we don't have too much horizontal drift. That's kind of always a bit of a concern. You're just trying to control that speed. And now you can see the effects from the lights coming up. So we know we're getting closer for sure. And surface speed 6 point. Oh no, looks like we're going up again. Gotta be careful not to do that too much. Okay, still getting lighting effects. Okay, starting to come down again. And starting to come down a little fast. So you got to burn the engines, but you don't want it to kick back up into space. We don't want to gain altitude. We want to get down. But we do have that horizontal drift that I'm not a big fan of. Well, now we got lights coming from all directions and the shadow. Like, we're really close here. Well, either that or what's very possible is we're now kind of on the other side of the valley, and so the surface itself is a bit tilted towards the top of the screen here. Okay, we're coming down. Not very quickly, so that's good. A little bit of controlling the burn. Shadows are coming up. And touched. And we're down. Okay. So I think that's about it for this episode. In the next episode, we'll actually explore the area. See you next time.